Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Iori Folani. Well, my guest this morning, first of all, sorry we're coming a wee bit late, most regretted, but we're here now. My guest this morning, well, I got Dr. John Kome. Dr. John Kome, also known as Reverend John Kome, is the senior pastor of ADC, that is African Democratic Congress, right?
No, not the pastor now, but candidate.
Well,
yes,
I was
and the pastor of Christian Center.
Okay. Yes. Sorry.
Yes.
I mixed those two up. You can't be senior pastor of African Democratic Congress. You're senior pastor or GO, depending. Take your pick
Yes.
of Christian Center International.
Sure.
And a politician of the ADC stock.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. Thank you very much for coming on. It's been quite a while.
It's my pleasure.
Indeed.
My pleasure.
And Mr. Deni Kuno. Mr. Kuno is a public affairs analyst. As always, a pleasure to see you.
Thank you very much for having me this
Indeed,
morning.
our pleasure.
Yes, please.
Is it too early for 2023? Because, we're getting, apparently there's a lot of vibration in the air. I wouldn't go as far as saying turbulence, but a lot of activity. But then, eminent men of God, I think it is Archbishop Onayekon,
Yeah, sure.
Bishop Onayekon on one hand, and Cardinal Okoje have actually admonished that we should be very, very careful because the 2023 election, in the opinion of those esteemed people, is a danger, or shall we say, is just a flashpoint, and we have to be careful how we go about it. Now, that was a bit interesting to me because, well, two things here. On the first year, we just had an election this year, and so we just have a new administration. How come 2023, the next election cycle, is in the air this much? Because you've heard both pro and both con for the matter. Let me start with you, Dr. John Kome, because I don't know. I wanted to also find out how you, a man of God, a man of the cloth, that's how we all knew you, have now gone into politics. And I read something back in February where you were making the point that, look, I'm not going in there for any material gain or benefit or fame or anything like that. What if I say, yeah, that's what they all say. That's what they all say who go into politics that probably people were surprised about. Maybe I told you that Long Throat is doing me. Even though I'm on one, I still want to find out what led Dr. Jome away from the house of God into the house of politics.
Thank you, Larry. In the first place, I have not gone away from the house of the Lord. I have not been led away from the house of the Lord.
Okay.
You see, I actually went into politics because, number one, I'm a Nigerian, and I'm in my mid-50s. I'm old enough to know what is happening in my country. I'm old enough to see what people are going through in my country. The Bible says, if the righteous are on the throne, the people rejoice. When the unrighteous or the ungodly are on the throne, the people mourn, the people suffer. I would like to ask you, in Nigeria, as a country and as a people, are we rejoicing or are we mourning? What makes me or any other righteous or godly or moral man wanting to go into politics, of course I've gone, is to making sure that the ungodly take over the country so that the people will no longer mourn but rejoice.
Interesting. We'll come back and look at aspects of that. But thank you very much for starting off. And Ni, may I call you Ni?
Yes, of course. That's fine.
This whole matter about 2023. Give me your impressions.
Well,
it's very far away, as has been pointed out. But then in politics, but sometimes they say 24 hours is a long time in politics. I don't know how you now say this one that we are contracting everything down as if to say it is next month or next quarter. What do you think about all the conversation about 2023 in 2019?
Since to a large extent we've modeled a democracy after that of the U.S.,
Yes.
I want to say that the U.S. will be having elections next year, and the highest of electioneering preparatory to that, big one for them is in the year 2019. I think it's misplaced priority if I must do a proper dissection of the feverish nature of how people have been clamoring, talking, and writing about 2023 when we just had an election that brought a new government into office. It still remains something that is doubtful if we're to do an assessment of who really is making the noise. We know very well that this year there have been posters in Abuja of several persons touted as those who will succeed the president if at all they get the party nomination, as it were. The APC has actually come out to refute that on no account that it's the work of the opponents or the
Oh, you're talking about posters of Shiwaju Bola
and the
Tinubu
rest,
that
of course.
appeared
Yes,
in the north.
of the nation's capital.
This has been denied
in fact,
categorically from his office.
Exactly.
From his secretariat.
So I feel that
they have nothing to do with it.
No, even if you don't have anything to do with it, I think whoever even did that perhaps didn't understand that we cannot be talking about another elections when the current administration is still trying to put things together to deliver on why people actually voted them into office another time. So I think people should know that it's a genetic misnomer found only in people that are on the front, the platform of the politics that we have here, to be talking about 2023 when they've not actually started work.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Dr. Kumar, do you have any theories as to why 2023 is such a current subject in 2019?
Sure. We all agree that early to bed, early to rise. Early preparation totally took over poor performance. I am not in opinion or in the view that we should start talking about 2023 at the moment, but on the other way, on the other side, you discover that one of the things that makes our politics what it is today is because we prepare too late. We're always in a hurry to make things. And because we're in a hurry, there's always an unholy alliance. The wrong people coming into a political party, and they form a particular government that is inconsistent, that cannot deliver. So I think while we agree that it is too early, but at the same time, it is good for people to start alignment and realignment at this moment. I don't think that those people who are making moves now are in government. They are not in governance. To be very fair with you, I will say, even if APC have denied that, somebody's poster is not from them, the person whose poster is there is not in governance. So he has the right, or if we don't mind, to start preparing early, to start looking for people who he can work with in different political parties or forums or political leanings. So I think that for people to start early, to an extent, helps a lot.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Kome. When he says starting early, there will be some who will say, yeah, I hear that, but it's politics, not morality. But they would say the earliness seems to be a bit indecent in terms of, look, it's a happy thing. We had a new administration, we had an election. We have an administration that has only just been sworn in this year. Even the bits and pieces tying up the loose ends, all the court, intervention, all of that has been settled. But people are talking still as if it's just next few months. And as you know, it's a very complicated kind of a situation that we have here. We talk about whose turn it is, we talk about rotation, we talk about north, south, east, west, and the suspicion is very, very, very strong. In fact, I think I've heard notable commentators say that, as far as they are concerned, looking at the lie of the ground, there's something of a third-term agenda, in the air. And say, wait a minute, how can we talk about a third-term agenda? We're just months into this administration.
Let me tell you.
We're just months into this administration.
People who understand what governance is all about should kill the discussions about 2023. If for any other time, yes. In 2019, I think...
But bearing in mind what Dr. Kume just said...
For Dr. Kume, the point is, you can go to bed late.
And still wake refreshed.
Depending on your...
Early and refreshed.
Depending on your priority. If you've got...
In our climb?
Excuse me, if you've got deadlines. At times I sleep midnight, 1, 2, and I need to have a meeting at 6. I wake up at 4.
I see what you are saying.
I'm saying
but you understand the meaning
what was
we have.
As far as I'm concerned, I think it's just because many of us do not understand that even nature has seasons. And once you rupture the seasons of nature, it affects you. And that is why you find out that people resort to alternatives. Immediately you have ruptured the proper process. When you go into an election that got decided in that year, the template or blueprints that you should project will be how you can deliver. Don't forget there are carryovers from the first time. And now you've got an accumulation of responsibilities to the people that got you into office.
Exactly.
I think that even if this is not coming from the ruling party, the people who are pushing this forward are simplistic.
Well,
I'm saying here that it is because they don't understand that it unsettles.
They ought to know better, is what you're saying.
The
they ought
point
to know better.
They don't understand. No,
it's almost the same as they ought to know.
But not exactly the same. They ought to know better. They don't quite have a grasp. So they are stepping on the wrong footings or wrong grounds, and that is why they are doing what they do, because it's distracting.
Which is why, the respected people, Onayekon and
Cardinal
Clergy,
remember, they are not politicians.
This could be very, very dangerous.
I'm saying this that
very, very
immediately
dangerous.
you start talking about 2023, for people who are even, perhaps those who are behind it, they allow people to take their eyes off
the ball.
Off the ball, because number one, when you don't have such distractions, people are able to remind governments, you told us you do this, so we have supported you. They keep them on their toes. But once 2023 comes, there is no concerted efforts to demand that the people in office do what they are supposed to do, so it starts thinking about the people who are to take over, whereas these people still have certain mandates that they must actually accomplish. So for me, if at all anybody is interested in 2023, don't bring it to the front burner. Go in, close your doors, begin to strategize, make your mappings ready. A year or two before 2023, you unleash your dragon. We don't need such at this point in time. If you look at the country and we do a careful assessment of what has actually come to the front burner of our concerns, from issues in the presidency to closure of the borders, to the president going outside of the country, and of course talking about even the 2019 budget, don't forget, this budget became operational less than about 3-4 months ago.
And also rumored stress between the president and his advisor.
Absolutely. These are issues surrounding the current leadership. We do not need a baggage of 3-4 years or 3 years' time to disturb us now.
Dr. Kumar, wouldn't you say that's logical? That's sensible? That we've just started. We've just started. We've just left the station, so to speak. So there certainly must be these, they call them fifth columnists or something like that, yes, who are bent.
They can't occupy the fourth estate of the realm.
Exactly.
They can't.
Who are bent on putting this out there on the polity and putting it in the conversation space.
Nigeria is a sensitive society, and
is it also a knowledgeable society?
Yes, it is. I must say that.
Is it also a knowledgeable one? Because
I agree with you.
Except
the Niger knows what's going on.
The percentage.
He might not be able to produce the proof as would be required if it was in a court of law, but as we say locally, the Niger knows what's going on.
But you see, the issue is this. The people who were said to have come out early about 2023 denied that such never existed in the first place. So when
the conversation is not dying down. There's distrust all over the place. You read communications, that is to say, you listen to communications that are coming from all over, and you can see that there's an undertone going on here of acrimony.
People have to start.
And you don't.
Early. We don't need to wait for another 3 or 4 years or 2 years before we start preparing.
How about the business of governance? Because as has been pointed out, and you probably agree, it's almost guaranteed to distract from pressing concerns of governance that Nee was talking about, and that this administration is also aware of. That, look, they took it up to the first term, 4 years, it's okay, well and good. Now they've come back, they themselves have said that there's much to be done, and we'd like to get cracking. But then, no man is an island.
Yeah.
All of this is going on around them. Is it well?
I don't have any problem with people starting early. Just get these fat rats.
Okay, that point is
and
important.
Again, there's another point I've just brought out now, that those who are, are aligning themselves politically and whatever,
yes,
they are not in governance. So the people in governance should go ahead and go with the government
Just
policies.
ignore
them.
everything going on outside. That's one way to look at it. Ignore everything and just keep your eye on the sparrow. Keep your eye on the ball, so to speak. That's what you're saying.
No,
that's what you're recommending.
No, I'm not
you're
saying
recommending for those in governance that have the charge of governing us.
Go ahead and go into the business of governance and allow the political. Remember, you see, let me call names now.
Sure.
APC is in governance at the moment.
Sure.
PDP is not in government at the center. At the center. Now, the PDP would like to come back, and moreover, there are other parties who are also clamoring to come into government by 2023. And they have a lot to do because they are not in governance. They have a lot to do to begin to do alignment and realignment to making sure that they're able to put their house together before 2023. They need to consult a lot of other people from other political parties and leanings to form a very strong body to even take over power, to struggle at power from the ruling party.
Let me show you now.
If the electorate, if that's the way the electorate wants to go.
That is how to be going in our country.
Right.
Yes.
May I say something or two here?
Sure.
In the U.S. at the moment, permit me to keep referring because
Okay,
they have something
because of the nature of their democracy.
the nature of their governments. Nobody within the GOP is talking about, all right, who really is going to take over. We're talking about a situation where the ruling party is the one that has the posters here and there. Maybe that is to tell him, more or less to refer to what he said, that since the PDP is not in power, then perhaps they can begin their preparations. But my concern is, you could find yourself at a place where you're trying to study or do something, and you find a fly come around, disturb you. It affects your concentration.
Yes.
Now, 2023 discussions now is like that fly that is causing disturbance to somebody who is either eating a very wonderfully prepared meal or somebody who is actually catering to the needs of people.
Or someone who is meditating, who is thinking, who is concentrating.
At the same time,
you're breaking concentration.
Yes, at times you want to do certain things, you've got to send your kids, or you go meet your mom or go into your room so you can concentrate. I'm saying that the people that are talking about 2023, they're associates of those in governance. And after all, what is the difference, theoretically, between the PDP and the APC? We've had switches here and there. I'm saying that you could have more of the main starters of the APC and the APC, but over time we know that our own alliances in terms of political parties, it's more of jumping ship rather than understand the ideologies that will make you remain. Some people have been GOPs for the past 6 generations. They've not switched. That's what I'm saying here.
When you now threw in what is the difference between the APC and PDP?
In terms of, no, I'm not talking, I'm talking about if you're saying one party or the other, I'm talking in terms of what's the difference if it's the APC that is either talking about 2023 or the PDP. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, I would like to point something.
Reverend, 1 second, please. I'm going to come straight to you, but Peter in Benin Republic wants to join the conversation. Good morning, Peter.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for calling in.
Good morning to your guest.
Sure.
Good morning to you.
Yes, I want to say something to the man of God or the pastor.
Yes, Dr. Kome.
Yes, a righteous man is not a pastor. A righteous man can be anybody. So because you are a pastor doesn't mean you are righteous. So,
but what's the point? What's the point you are making, sir? I wanted to understand what you really intend. What's the point?
You say that when the righteous is on power, the people rejoice.
I was quoting the Bible.
He said when people...
He was quoting from the Bible.
Yes, I know. He's preparing that to himself.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm saying that you are a pastor doesn't mean you are righteous.
Okay.
Nigerians are going to look at his background, and we are going to look who he has helped with his position as a pastor. Which foundation? You understand me?
Okay.
So Nigerians don't care. We don't care about your religious background or who you are.
Okay, Peter, thank you for coming in on it, Peter. But our subject of discussion really is religious leaders warning that it can be quite dangerous. Talking about 2023 this early in the very, very same year that we're just sworn in a new administration, and that is distracting and could be time wasting. That's the main point made by religious leaders. Has he gone? But I just wanted to bring that to bear, without prejudice to his comments.
Yes, let me just answer. Peter is correct, you see. For the fact that you are a religious leader or person does not actually make you righteous.
Yes.
There are a lot of people who are not religiously inclined who are even more morally fitted or righteous than even those
might
who
not have the calling.
Yeah, so I agree with Peter on that aspect. And then two, like the point you made to Peter and to everyone is that there's a warning from religious leaders, like to me, saying that it is too early to start disturbing the politics with 2023. That's the issue we're talking at hand. But I want to digress a little bit back to what he said earlier.
Okay.
Always comparing the United States politics with Nigerian politics. Number one, you have to realize that American politics has been for many, many years and is bipartisan. And Nigeria has a lot of political parties as it were in the country today. America has only two major political parties. But Nigeria has a lot of political parties, and our political terrain is still very, very myopic, and is very, do I say young? Okay. So you don't compare some of these old democracies with our own democratic experience. More so, you remember for America, for many years they've been in democracy. For Nigeria, we have been in military rule. We're just, how many years are we in democracy? Okay, so we still have a lot of
you were fully aware of all of this when you stepped into politics.
Of course.
Knowing that it's not exactly perfection. It's a work in progress.
And that's what
it's
Nigerians
less than
should
ideal.
realize.
Okay.
That's what Nigerians should realize.
I have someone else waiting on the line, so I'll come back to you.
It's okay.
Mazi Okorafor, good morning, sir. Hi, Zaro Chuku.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, Mr. Kunu. Good morning, Dr. Komi. I'm fine and good. We give God the glory, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
You see, sir, the 2023 hit now is okay for those who lost 2019 election. They can go back. They can go back and start strategizing
to the drawing board.
Okay.
Now in USA.
Okay.
See what the Democrats are doing now in the US in preparation for the next election. There are more of issues that is they are only sort of party issues, not in terms of governance of the state. What they are doing is they are strategizing on who comes in as the presidential candidate for the Democrats. That's what they are facing, purely about party issues. But in Nigeria now, everybody outside that will now want to come into the government to tell you this is how you are going to run the government, which is not done. Because of our level of education in politics, it's too early for Nigeria because our politics today in Nigeria, winner takes all. By the time we root that ideology from our sense of politics, that means Nigeria is coming on into the ball. But there's nothing wrong. But the thing is this is 2019. We have not spent 1 year. We still have another 3 years. So what Nigeria should be talking now is that what are the present politics, the party is in focus, what do they have? And they have what they have, and what they are not strategizing and achieving what they told Nigerians that this is what they have. It's going on, fine and good. But the thing is that any person will coming back outside now to say 2023, you start bringing in who will be the presidential candidate, who will be the senator. It's not necessary for now because our politics, we are still short. We are moving. But the question now is
okay, thank you very much, Mazi Okorafor. I will come back. I've got to go on a quick break now, but he said it's okay to be discussing 2023 if you lost the 2019 election.
That's first. But secondly, what are we discussing really?
Yes.
We should be talking about,
first of all... I'm going to come back because I've got to go to a quick break now. Right, stay with us, please. We'll be right back and we'll continue to take your calls. Okay, welcome back, and still in the studio with Dr. John Kome and Mr. Adeni Kuno, and we're asking the question that has been asked by religious leaders. It wasn't even a question; it was a statement that it's too early for 2023 conversations. The whole polity is rife, the whole news space is rife with it. There's so many issues that indeed it would have been lovely for people to be. There's the power issue, there's the education issue, there's the labor issue, all sorts of issues.
You see,
But the one that seems to have been as consistent almost from the time this administration was sworn in has been this one of 2023, and it's uncanny.
if you look at it,
Look, let me say this. To be very candid with you.
Okay, I'll come to you.
okay,
Let's very candid. Our political environment should be issue-based. Issue-based. And then, to be very frank with you, I would say that it's quite early to talk about 2023, because we need to allow those who are in government, the party in power at the moment, to concentrate giving out to Nigerians what they promise Nigerians. For instance, we talk about power, roads. Let me digress a little bit again. You see, there was a comment made by the Minister of Works that the issue of roads is over exaggerated. You know, that brought about a lot of complaints and aggression from different parts of the country. So I think that we should leave a politics of 2023 at the moment and let the entire country, both those in governance and those who are being governed, talk about issues on ground now to making sure that they better the life of Nigerians, either by provision of infrastructure, education, health, and all other issues. And like a comment he made that when a fly is disturbing somebody who's concentrating, it can be a greater distraction.
Yes.
And it's uncalled for. Those distractions are uncalled from the political actors now. Let us concentrate, whether you are in power or not. Let all Nigerians come together in the next 3 more years to see how we can be able to fix Nigerian first before we talk about 2023.
now, Yori, I have to say that oftentimes when we talk about providing the necessities that will assuage the crisis of the people, we look at the physical things. But oftentimes, I think abstracts are very important, things you may not be able to quantify. Let me begin by saying that the institutions that oversee election, which is INEC, the institution that enables the society to have an understanding of the policies of government, which is the National Orientation Agency. You're talking about the Ministry of Information, under whose auspices you have Radio Nigeria and the Nigeria Television Authority. Now, these institutions of government have about 50 to 60% of the work that will enable us have an ease necessary to transit from one state to the other during elections. As a growing child, I've always been close to the radio. I hear several times a week the things expected of citizens in terms of their civic responsibilities. Oftentimes you don't see INEC in the area of educating the voting public before elections. You see them when the elections have been announced and the rest of it all. Now, the National Orientation Agency perhaps is using the best of mattresses to sleep and snore now, whereas it should be informing people. Then at the same time, I know that the media agencies of government appear to be doing little. But I think if you want people to understand that certain things are critical to the development of the nation, leadership takes a lot from followership. That is why you resort to the people during elections to get their votes. You therefore must ensure that those people you get their votes are premium on your agenda, not only in the provision of the things they need that can be fiscally sane, but in the proper orientation that enable them understand the dynamics of the structures you have in place so that they can fit in as appropriate at the respective times that to participate in elections.
And
it is key.
You said it is the National Orientation Agency that
Absolutely,
has this key
as led by
responsibility.
Dr. Garba Abari,
That has
as
this
we
key
speak.
responsibility. Okay.
Most definitely.
Okay.
It's key.
In the meantime, you probably want to comment on that, but let me bring in Joshua too, Mr. Joshua is in Irewale. Good morning, sir.
Uncle Yori, good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling in. Good morning.
And good morning to your guests.
Sure.
Good morning to you, sir.
They said religious leaders. I would have loved if they identified who the religious leaders are. I think it's saying
there's the Archbishop Onayekon and Cardinal Okogie in different stories. Yeah. Those two gentlemen.
So we should say pastors. Said. Because I want to bring the narrative this way.
Sure.
Look at that 2019 election. You see, the involvement of church in politics has become terribly negative. We had situations where pastors will say this person will win election by whatever
prophesying and all of that.
This one will win election, that one will win election. Candidates go to their churches, they anoint the person to become the president. You know, the negative influence of religion in our polity is what they should be talking about. What is too early about 2023? Politics will be discussed, but let it be in the public space. Leave religious churches alone. And I have a reason for saying this, sir. As we pay tax to government, there's what we call tax that is paid to churches. The essence of the money they collect is for them to take care of their members. When the pastors become so profligate, so ostentatious, that you now have a situation where a pastor buys 4 private jets, they should talk to themselves. They are the ones causing problem for the country.
Okay.
They should cleanse themselves. They should look inward and have positive impact on the lives of their members. So the issue of whether politics is 2023 or not will not matter if they focus on caring for their members, which is the essence of their being as a church.
Okay.
So
I hear you.
2023 will be discussed, but they should focus on cleansing themselves. Sir.
I hear you. Thank you very much for calling in, Mr. Joshua, because you've taken the conversation, as you did say, that you wanted to, go in a certain way. But the men of God, the religious leaders here, as you probably will agree, Okoje, Onayekon, these are religious leaders, and if they make a statement like this, they're really talking to the society, but you are saying that never mind the society. You guys heal yourself first. That seems to be what you are saying. So it's not about a church or any mosque,
religious group.
it's about the society that, look, the polity, that you can't help it. You pick up a paper, you switch on a radio set, you switch on a television set, there's going to be some aspect of this conversation.
You can't take the church away from the state. You can't take them away in terms of their influence, in terms of their presence. Yeah. Of course, they may not meddle in governance, especially in the 21st century, although the church has a history of controlling the reins of power.
Yes.
But in these times,
they have a
still
right.
remain relevant.
They
very relevant.
And so they have a right. They can speak this way. They can speak. They are citizens. Look, we are making observations.
Sure. Yeah.
Dr. Yes, in the morning, this morning on the radio, on Katori earlier on, you see, this issue came up again. This same issue came up. Religious people, meddling with political affairs. As a matter of fact, one of the contributors said that they should remove politics from religion. Is it
meddling or joining? Okay. You're joining the political space or meddling in the political space?
They use the word meddling.
Meddling is not appropriate for me. I think joining basically is have your feet and hands in it.
Yes.
You see, the issue is this. I want to tell you, I want to talk about religious organizations or religious people in government. Or what is governance? What is governance? Governance is about, using the resources of the people at your disposal to work for the people. Now, let me tell you, in every country of the world, you cannot remove religion from politics, either in Christian dominated countries or even Islamic dominated countries. As a matter of fact, if you look at, let me use this analogy. If you go to the Arab world, you discover that the Arab people use religion as a matter of fact, to control the people, the economy, and they are doing well. They are doing well.
I was going to say there are different, as you know, there are different systems of government.
Of course.
There's theocracy, where
you are very correct.
There are people who rule by the Quran, who rule by the Bible.
Yeah.
There are such societies.
Well.
But we are secular. And the point here is not whether or not men of cloth should come into religion. It's that they are warning that it's not the church that's going to be in trouble. It's that this whole society
will affect us. It
will be affected if care is not taken. But in the meantime, let me hear what Mr. Yakub, who has called in from Yanapaja. Dokpemu. Good morning, Mr. Yakub. Thank you for calling in.
Good morning to you.
Yes.
For the first time, I think I agree with you. Any of the just leaders that say this.
Yakub, is there something wrong with your voice? Do you have a...
I really have this code, but let me be last one now.
Okay.
So I agree with the religious leaders that say this. You see, but the only thing you cannot take out of politics, the core politician, is that all what they know in their life is politics. As Arochukwu said, somebody that...
Arochukwu didn't say anything, but Mazi Okorafor spoke.
I'm sorry.
Mazi Okorafor spoke.
Mazi Okorafor, I agree with him. Someone that lost the election in 2016. I think, let me use my dialect and maybe you will help me to translate in that studio. I know that's a prayer to pray. You know, this is more put. So, if there is somebody that his eyes is too high, he is supposed to start crying today. I don't know, maybe I'm getting it right. So, if there is the president lost the election in 2016, if he starts to play the politics now, so be it for him. But somebody that is incumbent government, like APC, they don't have to talk about that. But somebody will do the APC hierarchy that even looking at high of that presidency or any other political office holder, he must be planning now because you're a strategic person as a politician. If you get your strategy very well, you will likely get to that position. But if you not start the journey maybe next hour, you may not be able to get there. So, but I mean, the presidency should focus on a good governance because we are just maybe 4 or 6 months in this second time era now. So they should be able to give us what Nigeria, somebody like us and other people that supported this government.
Okay.
They should be able to give us good governance in 2023. If you even want to campaign for them, we'll be able to pass 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5 things that they have done so that we should minimize our talk. So that is it. But if they play politics now, but the religious leader in 2023 now they will still come out. No vote for this social president. If you vote for this social president, they are going to die. We see it 2022. But they come out now that it is too early. Let's wait and see what is going to happen 2023. God willing, we will reach that time.
Well, thank you very much. Amen. You probably want to comment on that because Yakub essentially is saying that he agrees with you. He agrees with you about there's nothing wrong in starting early, and then went on to qualify, and explain his answer. But we were making the point that,
yes,
please
the point we're making before Jacob called was that you say, in the first place, I want to say this: the politicians are either Christians or Muslim, even in Nigerian secular situation.
Yes.
And there's no way you can diffuse religion from politics, as it were, because like we heard this morning, the people who are in governance now, they are either Christians or Muslims. And they have religious leader who is teaching them. Now the question is, what are the religious leaders, either Islamic leaders or Christian leaders? What are they teaching the people who go into politics?
So
if we get it right.
What you are saying is that the religious leaders, whether Muslim, whether Christian, actually could be by remote control
the people
be in charge because, as you said, they're busy teaching. You know how they're sons. People are sons of their teachers and their religious leaders. So what you are saying is, Lord knows what such religious leaders are teaching.
The influence they have on these politicians.
That's a better way to
because
put it.
The politicians,
what is the influence that they have on them?
Over.
Because from what you're saying, they could, by remote control, be actually teleguiding, and that is undesirable.
They should. If one of my spiritual sons is a governor.
Yes.
And I discover he is going the way that it will bring shame to the church, to my religion, and to the church. I should call him to order.
Well,
the same thing.
Okay. Because it's an interesting point you make. I'm sure people might want to relate to it later on. But I have John in Ikeja. That's the thing with this kind of conversation. Oh, Mr. George in Ikeja. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Thank you.
And greetings to your guests.
Sure.
Thank you very much.
Uncle Yori, I have issues with the definition Dr. Komen gave to the art of governance.
Okay.
The impression he gave is that when really clerics come to governance, they govern better, or that people rejoice because it is clerics that are governing.
Well, righteous,
It is
not
not-
clerics.
yes,
not
no
clerics,
clerics,
or
no clerics.
righteous men.
Righteousness
Okay.
is not defined by the religion you profess, but by the nature of your person. So whether you have religion A or religion B, your nature of being good or knowing how to govern people in the right perspective is not through that religion. That's just the point I want to clarify.
Okay.
Secondly, sir, I thought we have an umpire in elections, which is INEC. And INEC has rules and regulations about when politicking should start. At a time, they will pronounce a program of events leading to the next general elections. That is what I expect politicians to follow. Not when one election has just been held. Some cases have not even been decided in court as to whether those winners are authentic or not. You're already politicking. You're already discussing of what to do in the next 4 years. I think that is the area that Bishop Okoje and the other one we are talking about.
The cardinal.
And I will want to support them that they are right on that. There is time for everything. There are rules and regulations. There are time guidelines for everything that we do. Politics cannot be an exception. Let there be governance. The Reverend Comey said those who won should be governing. Those who did not win should be planning how to take over from those. Those who won, do you think they want you to come and take over from them? They don't want you to take over from them. They want to govern and at the same time be given opportunity to govern again. So when it is time for politicians to, when the bell is wrong, then everybody will go on. You can't say it should be discriminatory. Some people will go fast because they were governing. When the time comes, they will not be able to meet up. So there will be no fairness in it. That's the way I see it.
Thank you very much for calling in, Mr. George.
Yeah, I want to help, clear some doubts regarding some of the things they keep referring as the statement of Dr. Coleman.
Well, okay.
They talked about righteous. No.
Okay.
Let's just help them.
Because he can always talk for himself.
No. Okay. Let me just deal with it. Let me also deal with it.
He had the point there.
Let me also deal with it. Let me also deal with it, even if I'm dealing with it.
But the point that Mr. George Nikeja made, which is that there are rules, there are guidelines for all civilized societies. You can't just jump in anyhow. We have guidelines. Maybe if it is that point that you want to bring up, that Dr. Coleman said categorically that it's not necessarily too early.
Well, for that,
in principle,
yeah,
yes.
we've talked about that. I think what I want to address will be that to understand that the word righteous, which has
which is not about whether it is too early or not.
Word righteous,
because that's the main plank of
the word
this.
righteous means to do good. It's just that he read the English translation of the Bible. That's why he used it. If we were to take it from like Hebrew and Greek, you'd get a better context of what it means, which has to do with the humanity expected of you, which is not domiciled within the confines.
But this is still a side road. It is still a side road.
Yeah.
So the main road is the danger of all this clamor and all this noise about 2023. Yes, the Reverend gentleman did make a comment, and people are picking up on that particular comment, and I have nothing against that. But we don't want us to forget the main plank of this conversation is that why is this indecent earliness?
Don't forget, I talked about INEC and I talked about the National Orientation Agency.
Sorry, sir. After all, if a man or a woman loses their spouse, I wait now. There's a respectable interval before you begin to talk about.
If I thought you even want an alternative,
even if you want, but within the same time period, you're already looking at. Look, this is what the next guy should have. This is what the next guy should be.
It is the reason I've said that the people who should take the responsibility must be the agency saddled with those tasks.
Orientation agency,
it is key. They have to work in tandem with INEC. INEC at the same time feels when the elections are maybe about a year to go, they conduct a week session of sensitizing the public. It doesn't work. It has to be an integrated approach where in schools, in offices, in various places, you have an INEC idea. that continues all year round for people to become reconscientized into the things expected of them. They don't understand that it is not just your civic responsibility to vote. It is part of your civic responsibility to ensure that votes are not disrupted, to participate as a peaceful Nigerian. There are lots of things included in being a proper citizen of a country. And I think that INEC must understand that everything that actually affects the election, it is their responsibility. Sensitization, education, engagement, these things are key. Now, Bayelsa elections are coming. I know INEC gave a timetable long before now, but the meeting with stakeholders started about 2 months ago. Elections are coming this month. That's at the weekend. It is not enough. You can engage with people 6 months, a year before that. That means you need more funds for INEC to do that. And at the same time, INEC needs to retrain the people that are on their employ. Some people have been in INEC for the past 25, 30 years. They may not be able to, they are not in tandem with the current gadgets.
It's the orientation set up.
It's very important.
They are the people that, if you want, quite frankly, are not performing.
Well,
but I know that's a debatable point.
It's debatable.
Kingsway, Mr. Kingsway, if I got that right, in Ikeja, good morning, sir. Yes, I did. Good morning, sir.
Hello, good morning.
Thank you for calling in. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, Mr. Yuri. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear, Mr. Kingsway. Good morning, sir.
Please, Uncle Yuri. I don't think you should be, discussing this in 2023 right now, because can you hear me?
Kingsway, why should we not be discussing that religious leaders are warning that this is a dangerous or not helpful thing at all?
Forget about religious leader. Which religious leader?
Is that the end of the contribution?
No.
Okay.
What I am saying is, this topic should not come from you. Don't initiate such topic right now. We don't need it.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
Forget about
it's a fallout from the
whatever religious
okay.
leader is.
Thank you very much. But if you don't need it, you don't need to comment beyond this. I mean, or do you have anything more to say? Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Because
But I think that's very disrespectful.
No, it's all right. We get all sorts. It doesn't matter.
To the
the
people
way
that
he
spoke,
feels.
and
respect for their
the way-
offices.
That's why he gave his name as Kingsway. He didn't give a real name. That's why he gave his name as Kingsway.
Yeah,
because
because
he didn't want to be
he's a
identified
religious
with-
person
with-
too.
with the comment.
And see, let me say this. Governance is a responsibility for all, not only for those in government. Government is both the leaders and the led. We all have responsibility to change Nigeria. Whether you are a religious leader or you are a business world, it's a responsibility. So people should realize that, look, it is our collective duty to govern Nigeria. Whether you're in Aso Rock or you are in the State House, it is everybody's duty.
And can we get on with the business of governance, apart from all these distracting conversations that do come up? So there's plenty to be said for the leaders who there's plenty that they have said that, look, guys, it's not helpful. In fact, it's dangerous.
Okay, let me
it's
say,
dangerous, and we've run out of time.
Let me go to what he has said earlier.
Well, you can't go there in full because we've completely run out of time. Unless you just wanted to.
Yes, because you talk about the political institution, INEC, NOE, and all of that. Now, he is suggesting that, I think it's suggestive, that these people should start early.
Yes.
And when these people start, educating the
not the players, but the institutions
then
of
the
government.
player has to come in.
No, this is it. This is it. No. Excuse me. I'm talking about the electorate. They have time to meet with those who are vying for elective positions.
We're not talking about...
and they do not even have to meet them.
As somebody has observed, we're not talking about the roads, we're not talking about the power situation, we're not talking about the labor,
closed borders.
If you want, the closed borders,
it's also part of the conversation.
People are talking about who is taking over after the one that we have just sworn in. Well, I think a word is enough for the wise.
Yeah.
If men of the cloth are saying this, we either, well, just like Mr. Kingsway so-called said, he doesn't see any need to be talking about it, but there are other people who see it differently.
Yeah.
I want to thank you, Dr. John Kome and Mr. Adeni Kuno.
Thank you for
very much.
having me
We've
here.
no more than scratched the surface, but it's important. It's an important
key. It's
itch
key.
that
Thank you very
we
much
needed
for
to make.
having me. Yeah.
Okay, so that's our program. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Iyori Folarin. Bye-bye for now.